Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today, and welcome to our first episode. Might be a small one, might be a little big, don't know yet.
Just like Daniel's girlfriend found out.
There you go, exactly. My name is Daniel Crabtree. This is Tim Clemens, a good buddy of mine. We've known each other for years. We are two members of a group that I call PCI Paranormal. And if you're wondering what the PCI means, we'll discuss that later. But paranormal, meaning paranormal investigators, ghost hunters, whatever is your take on that. Ultimately, what we like to do is we like to go out and we like to do investigations. A lot of times, we prefer to do some for people that their main excuse is we want to make sure that we're not crazy, which is what most people will tell you when they talk about ghosts, really, honestly.
But we make it a point not to tell them that they are crazy if they are.
Right.
Because then they get violent.
Yeah, if they are crazy, we leave that to ourselves, and then we just come back and say, well, we really didn't find anything, but we did find one little thing that you might want to hear just to make them happy. But
usually something along the lines of, and I got a bad feeling in the bathroom.
Right.
Then I peed and I felt better.
So what is it that ghost hunters do? Is pretty much what we say, and there are certain ways of doing it. And if you hear the background, we have a cat in the background as well. He's brand new to Tim's family, at least. Just got him today. So
matter of fact, if you write in and suggest names, we will pick the best one and name the cat that name.
He might even come to view in a minute if he gets ballsy enough. So about ghost hunting, if anybody's ever wanted to know what really you need for ghost hunting, especially if you're looking for proof, you want to document something. When I first started out, I had a digital recorder and a digital camera, which is all we needed. And honestly, when you're doing ghost stuff, that's really all you need. Pictures are great.
Keep going.
Cameras are good. But what you really like to get is what you can hear on video recording or voice recording, or also known as EVPs, like electronic voice phenomena. That's really where most of your source comes from. Pictures are great, but they're very rare. And when you can actually go on our website. We have a Facebook website, PCI Paranormal. We also have a YouTube site that we are constructing right now that is going to be renamed right now. It's only called D Crabtree, but I have a lot of my stuff up there from our investigations in the past. Most all of it is EVP. We have video, but video, me and Tim have this argument all the time. Video, camera, you see orbs go across the screen or something like that. My belief is there's a lot of dust. Tim would agree with that at the same time. Tim was a photographer for years, so he firmly believes that photography really doesn't really capture the essence of a ghost.
Actually, if I can interject.
Yeah.
If you decide that you want to do this, a lot of people like to go the technical way. The reason why I brought this out is when I used to do this, I would just show up with a flashlight so I can see in the dark. And this stick, because a lot of times out in the woods I don't want to fall over anything. So, no, it's not magical, it's just a stick. And a good pair of boots.
Mm-hmm.
And the willingness to be bored.
Yep.
See, here's the thing. That was something that just randomly fell off a shelf.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. The trick with this is you gotta love the story. It's not all about, oh my God, there's a shadow in the corner or something like that. It's the story. It's the idea that something special or paranormal or unusual is happening. If you don't love that, you're not gonna dig it. Unfortunately, most of the time, nothing's gonna happen. You're gonna show up, you're gonna walk around, but that's not the point. The point is knowing the story, looking up the background, and being at the place where it's supposed to happen. So even if the story's not real, it suddenly becomes a little more real and a little more magic, and a little more fun. Daniel likes the technical end of it, though.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to look for EVPs.
Yep.
He likes to take pictures and see stuff. Now, I don't disagree with the photography portion. I don't believe in orbs.
We both definitely disagree with the orb thing, and I do believe that there are some in the pictures that can be called orbs. Spirit orbs is what a lot of people call them. Me and Tim have that disagreement. Fair enough disagreement, and we agree to disagree.
But there are a few photographs I do believe in. Go to Google and look up the Brown Lady. An amazing photograph.
Yeah.
The ghost actually stopped on the staircase and waited for the shot to be made. And this was taken way before Photoshop or for really photo manipulation was a big thing. Now, most of what you're going to see, like the Brown Lady, are faked, but they're clearly faked. She's very strange in the way that she's kind of hard to pinpoint, and she's on the negative.
So there you go. So that's one thing. But like I said, if you're into it to get the evidence, digital recorders is definitely the best thing to go with. If you want pictures, great. Pictures do, like Tim said, pictures will produce stuff that you may not notice before. And like you said too, not everywhere you go is going to be a haunted place.
Cat, please don't push over the camera.
I've done 7 investigations with my crew. Tim just came on recently, and I've told him about some. He's heard some of my video. We've caught stuff. Not every place had it, but there was some that we had some good feedback out of. But don't ever expect to always find something going on. Your adrenaline's going to be rushing. You're going to be pumping with adrenaline. You're going to be wanting to find something, and ultimately that's going to cause you to get scared at the same time. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, not only that, but sometimes when you really, really, really want to find something, you'll sometimes find it whether it's there or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else to watch out for. Stop and think about what just happened.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to get swept up in the rush, and if you're doing this for somebody, you don't want to have them convinced of something that's not actually there. Now, I'm not saying flat out call them a liar, but at the same time, you don't want to have somebody so scared they're going to leave their house when in reality all they have is a cat that's gotten up under their house or wind blowing just right to make it sound like a moan.
And that's his exact point, and that's where you gotta think when you're doing this. You hear a creak or something, and you hear something that you haven't heard all night, but you heard something drop or something like that. Go find out what it could have been. Try to duplicate it if possible. You know, try to do everything to mimic what you saw or heard. That way you can eliminate it, and then if it comes down to it, you say, oh, it was paranormal. By the way, this little guy is called Music, from what Tim said.
That was the young lady who has me watching after him. She named him Music. I don't like the name Music. If she watches this, I'm sorry. If you take him back eventually, you can rename him Music, but I'm going to let the fans pick the cat's name.
And
Please
hopefully he
don't
will
knock
knock over our camera, because he is rubbing the camera right now. There it is. Yep. See, he's going
But
in.
we're going to leave that in there because that is reality, my friend.
That is right. Yep. There's no ghost in that at all. That's the cat rubbing up against it.
You know what? No, that was a ghost.
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
I
that
don't think
was.
so. I don't think so.
We can be
If
like
it
ghost
drops, now he's going to think it's a ghost. He's going to bolt out of here.
We can be like ghost hunters. Just let the cat knock it over and claim we don't know how that happened.
Well,
Right.
speaking of that, you had mentioned that one time, and I personally have watched it a couple times. I find it entertaining. I'm more partial to Ghost Adventures myself. However, I don't go on demon hunts. That's one thing I do not do. That's kind of one thing that you really don't want to mess with. Sometimes it might be unavoidable. You might go into a place and you end up having that situation. So one thing to always remember about that, and you have to be cautious if you do this, because there are things that can happen.
You said doo-doo.
I did say doo-doo. And I told Tim about this before. There was a place we went to, and it was pretty good activity. And ultimately, you can have ghosts follow you home. It has been done in the past. I've experienced it. Tim, I believe, has experienced it in the past when he did this before. If you are not careful with what you're doing, they will follow you home, and it will happen, and it can happen. It's not a question of if it's going to happen, it's a question of when it'll happen. If you poke and pry long enough with this stuff, they will follow you, and it has happened.
And the one thing that movies get right is, in most cases, particularly demonic, the more attention you give it, the worse it gets.
Absolutely.
Those paranormal activity movies, as silly as they are, they're dead right on that. Every documented case study, if they're real, the more you poke at it, the worse it gets.
And we'll go into that on other episodes as well. We're going to definitely talk about the other forms of ghosts that are out there that the main 3 really, and I'll just mention them real quick. Residual, poltergeist, and demonic is what you're looking at. And we'll break those down in different episodes to give you an idea of what those are. But ultimately, ghost hunting is a very fun thing. It's something that I enjoy thoroughly. We haven't done one in a while. I hope to do one soon. But I love it. I think it's a great experience. And it'll definitely, if you ain't careful, it could really freak you out. But the best thing to do is hold your composure usually. And, you know, you have to, really. You have to, especially if you know something's in there. You've got to hold it together, you know.
I mean, I'm just lonely, and I like getting out and meeting people.
Yeah, Tim is a single guy, and he lives in this really cool place. If I was single, I would be living in this. Honestly, I would clean it up a little bit. But,
you can't see it, and we're not going to be turning the camera around there. But my house literally looks like a swap meet.
Yeah.
It is stuff that I just randomly seen and went, wow, I want this. Let me show you. This is the best thing. I was at the flea market, and for whatever reason, I thought to myself, I really need a welder's mask. I've never done anything with it. I literally just brought it home and sat it down, and when I picked it up for this camera, is the first time I've shown anybody I've got this thing.
Would make a great serial killer mask or a great superhero mask if you painted it up just right. So,
or Voltar from the old Space Ghost
show.
show.
Exactly. Does it fit good? It's a little sloppy, but I think...
Dude, I can't see jack this thing.
You're not supposed to. That's the point.
A serial killer couldn't use this. Just careening into walls and whatnot.
Well, if they're chopping somebody up and using welding stuff,
it would be a special needs serial killer. Like, he would actually have to ask people, can you please walk towards me as I thrust at you with my knife?
But after they're dead, I mean, he's chopping them up. He doesn't want to get the blood in his face. You know, that's one of them, you know.
Are you really...
I'm just letting you know that's what that would be used
so,
for.
if you happen to want to be a serial killer and use a welder's mask, email Daniel and he will give you tips. Matter of fact, I will sell this to you. Just joking. Please don't become a serial killer. But if you do, use a welder's mask.
While you're chopping them up.
Because then they'll have a better chance of getting away.
Oh, man.
And that is how I file things in this house.
It is, and luckily you can't see it, so it's good. We do have two other members. One of them is my fiancée, Shanna Patterson. She is a full-time member with us.
Have I met her yet?
You have, yeah. She met her a couple times.
There's a Longhorn at Dawson.
Longhorn, and you met her, waved at her at Waffle House. We haven't got y'all together. We haven't got them together yet, so I haven't let them formally meet, but they know of each other.
I tend to chase people away.
Right. Well, no, he won't. He's fine. She used to be, and still is, the main one that does most of the talking. Come on out. If you want to talk to us, give us a sign. She's very outright and forward with it. I like to use the equipment myself.
And I'm who they bring in afterwards out of fear that I might chase people off.
He was brought in during the investigation because he has too much information in his head, and he could actually bore somebody with it on occasion. But no, all together we're a bunch of great people, and we love doing this. And I've known Tim since
high school.
High school? I thought it was middle school, man.
Oh God, it was middle school.
It was middle school. Yeah,
I don't think we spoke in middle school.
We did spoke. Yeah, like 5th grade.
Did I block it out?
You may have, I guess.
Were you that bad to me?
No, dude. Remember, I used to come
over. You were that guy who put my head in the toilet.
No, we actually would go and make these big, huge posters.
That was high school.
No, it wasn't. That was no, it was not high school.
No,
I was in Forsyth Central.
There was no way Coach Orr would let me get away with any of that.
That was in middle school.
That's what I'm saying. High school, we did the posters because Lee Goodson and I started that the year before.
He's wrong. It was middle school.
The Span 314 posters. They were horribly sacrilegious.
Before that. I'm talking about before when we were in the comic books. We were doing projects for one of your teachers, and she wanted a big poster. I think it was a Spider-Man.
Okay, that's right.
Remember
that's
that?
Right.
And so we put a projector up there, and then we put it up there, and we
Spider-Man.
traced Spider-Man out for it, and everything like that.
You remember when we decked out Kevin White's wheelchair and Batman regalia too?
Yeah. I think I remember that. Yeah.
So Kevin, if you're out there, write us. We just want to know how you're doing. We haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah.
If you're one of the 5 people to watch this.
Exactly, 1 of the 5. I got a lot of people on my like list on my PCI Paranormal, so hopefully I would hope that
but
you guys
most of you
will
seem to be other paranormal groups wanting to advertise. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out if you're all advertising on each other's sites, so the paranormal groups know the other paranormal groups.
So we all know each other because I like y'all's page too. Don't worry. I'm still catching up on some of y'all's pages, so don't worry.
I like you more.
I like those pages, by the way. There are some pretty good ones on there. If you get on there, there's some pretty good teams. There's none in Georgia, except us right now, so that's good.
No, there's some paranormal investigator groups.
There is, but they're not advertising on. They're not liking on the page and stuff yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no. There's one in Delonico I know of that has a psychic that goes with them. And
Well, let's not throw up the thingies because they might get offended.
well, I mean, I believe in psychics. Not as much as everybody should think, but I believe that people, very few, have that ability. Not everybody that you see that's in a flea market or anything like that.
I, on the other hand, am a skeptical believer. I will question everything. I believe it exists, but I'm not going to take your word for it.
Right, and that's kind of the way I feel about it. You know, I mean, there have been, I would say there's been facts about it that they are around. You know, definitely are. But
my philosophy on it is that you have so many cultures and so many countries that have very similar stories about certain things that something at the root of it has to be true.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you remember that? This is when I first started watching ghost stuff. It was Most Haunted Place. No, it was the first group. They were a British group in the 90s that were doing paranormal investigations. It was the first paranormal group that was doing it on TV. Do you remember them? And they had a psychic, and I can't remember his name. If anybody remembers that,
I remember that.
if anybody remembers
that,
that, let me know. But he was accurate.
The white-haired guy.
He was accurate, though. Every time he went in, he was very accurate.
But it's a con.
You don't know that.
I do, because
I
I know
know.
how to do it.
I don't know.
What you do is you make your predictions very broad.
No. Okay. Well,
I watched this guy.
I watched him too, but there were certain episodes on there where he was giving out names. Like he was popping out names of people that were in these places.
But
not all of them.
Now, here's the question, though.
Okay.
He's giving out names. How much edits were Billy? No. Bob? No. Jim? No.
Okay.
Connie?
Okay.
Yeah, there is a Connie!
Yeah. Okay.
He's amazing.
He could be right. He could be right.
It's like watching a magician on television, like a street magician. 9 out of 10 times, there's a whole bunch of cut scenes where they hoisted somebody up in a crane or something like that.
Could be the case.
Or the guy can actually fly. I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you this, though. They had one that was really convincing. It was on the USS, I think it was the USS...
Enterprise.
No.
Those guys could disappear and reappear on another planet.
No, it wasn't that. It was the USS Cole, I think. It was a retired ship. And they were on that ship, and it was in America. They traveled to America, and, dude, there was some really good stuff that they caught on audio. And I thought, yeah, it was really cool.
It's like the, if you ever get a chance, look up the footage from Alcatraz.
I would love to do Alcatraz.
Like you
that would
hear,
be sweet.
Like the footage I've heard, you hear like the prison doors closing and opening and people
so cool.
muttering.
That's the stuff we like to do. So
the stuff that you absolutely probably shouldn't do.
Probably shouldn't do.
Prisons,
exactly.
psych wards. If there's any place where a ghost could possibly be, those would be the places.
Yep, absolutely. So keep that in mind. We'll talk more about this later on, but I think we are out of time today. So
there is one thing though.
Yes.
My idea is I wanted to have every time we do one of these videos, we would try a strange and interesting food. What does it have to do with ghosts? Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
But it just so happens I have a jar of Vegemite.
And you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh when you remember what this is from. Okay?
Right.
Do you remember?
Vegemite.
Tell them what this is from. Tell them
Right.
what it's from.
This is from Australia. Now, my boss, or one of my bosses at my current employment, she is from Australia, and she was going back home. And I begged her to bring me back some Vegemite, and she says, well, why? And I said, because I heard it from that song. Is it Men at Work?
I think it is. I think it's.
Yeah.
It could be Men at Work.
But the guy says, I asked you, speak in my language. He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich.
I just thought it said piece of sandwich. I didn't know it said Vegemite sandwich.
So,
look at this.
This stuff is probably some of the
looks
most...
so gross.
I'm not going to tell you what it is until after you eat it. Don't eat it yet.
looks so
I'm
gross.
putting a small amount.
No,
on
put
it.
a little bit more.
No,
I'll take a little
no.
bit more.
There's a
Sure.
reason for.
Okay.
I will explain after you taste it. Don't eat it yet.
It's
Don't
like
eat
a
it yet.
piece of poo. Man, it's like.
It looks like your cat got sick and pooed on in the jar. All right, take a look at this. Now hold up. That.
That's
right.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
And after you eat it, I will tell you what it is.
All right. Woo!
All right.
That'll kick you in the butt. Woo!
That is a yeast extract.
Oh. Yeah, that's
Very salty.
Yeah.
All right. First off, you're not supposed to eat it that way. You're supposed to eat it very small amount on toast with butter. But for the sake of the show, it's funnier
That was stout.
if you eat it the way it is. But yeah, it's not. It has an almost earwaxy taste.
That was rough.
Now, however, if you ever get a chance to get some, get it. This stuff has the highest amounts of vitamin B you'll ever see. I mean, it is a true superfood. And like all God's creations, the stuff you should want the most tastes the worst.
Well, I won't be getting that anytime soon. So, well,
Probably not, because you have to go to Australia. You can't buy this here.
you
have to
have it
have it
shipped over here?
You have to have it shipped, and it costs a
How
fortune.
did you get somebody to ship that over here for
They
you?
didn't ship it. She went to Australia and brought it back for me.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, this is Daniel Crabtree, Tim Clemens, saying goodnight, and we will see you in future episodes.
Do I give
Thank
my
you.
email address or something?
What is it? You know what? I need to look at that. I will get that for you next time I get up. But emails, emails. If you're interested in us doing an investigation for you, you can actually do my personal email. I don't actually have an email set up for PCI.
I can't remember our phone number.
So D Crabtree 032 at yahoo.com is the email address. If you want us to do an investigation for you, please let us know. We will definitely do so. Just email me that. D Crabtree 032 at yahoo.com. You want to throw yours on, or you just want to use mine?
We'll just use yours.
All right. Okay. Very
Because I've got too much other crap going on in mine. It'll get lost.
good. Right on. Okay.
We also have a phone number, but I don't remember it at the
Yeah,
moment.
we'll get that back to you. We were working on that, and we've been using our private numbers, but I think we're going to
Ooh, tell them about Facebook, too.
Facebook, look us up on Facebook, PCI Paranormal. Put in p.c.i and it'll bring us up. You'll see my nice mug with a flashlight underneath it, and it's looking at it like this.
It's like Uncle Fester.
Yep, PCI Paranormal. We have a bunch of EVPs on there. There's some photographs you can judge for yourself on what we've got up there. And also, check out YouTube. It's under my my name, D Crabtree. And that's where you'll find a lot of EVPs as well. So,
Or-
no, I'm good. I'm good. So for that, good night, and we hope to see you again. Thank you for watching.
You know, we keep acting as if it's just going to stop.
Yeah, well, I want to pause for a minute. That way, you know, if we're going to